District Court Community Conference. If we could do that one next, that would be good. We have our judge here with us, and Heidi Papachuk is here also, and we welcome our presiding District Court Judge, Honorable Donna Tucker. Good to see you. And it's not even in the hallway. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Heidi Papachuk, Council staff. The staff report begins on page 131 of your packet. According to the Center of Court Innovation, community courts are a type of problem-solving court that seek to address crime, public safety, and quality of life problems at the neighborhood level. Unlike other problem-solving courts, such as drug, mental health, or domestic violence courts, community courts do not specialize in one particular problem. Rather, the goal of community courts is to address the multiple problems and needs that contribute to social disorganization in one or more target neighborhoods. The first community court was established in the Midtown Manhattan neighborhood of New York City in 1993. Over 2 decades later, at least 70 community courts are in operation around the world. Today's briefing by the King County District Court will provide the committee with an overview of its proposal to pilot a community court program in King County. Madam Chair, that concludes my remarks. Presiding Judge Donna Tucker is here to brief the committee on District Court's community court proposal.
Welcome, Judge.
Good morning. Good morning, Madam Chair. It's an honor to be here today. I would like to indicate to the council that last year when the county started asking for proposals and submittals under the mid-renewal process, that the judges of the court sat down and talked about what it is that the district court may be able to do to have better outcomes for the cases that we routinely see in our court. And we deal with a lot of misdemeanor offenses. We also have cases that appear in front of us that are felony drop-downs, primarily having to do with drug violations. And so we have a large population that appear in district court that do not qualify for the current therapeutic courts of drug court or mental health court. But we still have individuals who are suffering from substance abuse issues as well as lower level mental health issues. And so we took a look and thought that it would be appropriate for the district court to seek some assistance in providing what I would call a more individualized justice for the individuals that appear in front of our court. And we started taking a look at community courts around the country. My chief administrative officer and I had the pleasure to attend the 2015 conference, International Conference on Community Courts, which was hosted by the National Center for Court Innovation in Chicago this year. And we heard from providers around the nation, including Australia, New Zealand, and all across the United States. So the basic thrust of these courts is for us to take a look at individuals and get as much information as we can about a defendant before we impose conditions for this individual. Does the person need health care? Does the person need housing? Does the person need mental health treatment? Does the person need support in education? What are the needs of the individual? So the hope is that we can then fashion a conditions of sentence in dealing with criminal behavior that start to address the underlying conditions that got the individual into the court system to begin with. King County started a number of years ago a jail diversion program through CCAP and Work Crew. Those are really good programs. It's a really good start to make the community court concept work really well. So we're taking a look at what can we do. We want the person to be engaged in the community as a payback to the community. So Work Crew, I think, will be a very large component of people's participation so that the community can see that the individuals committing these offenses are actually providing contribution back to the community as opposed to putting them in jail for rather small or minor offenses. So as a part of community court, we will be engaging the community itself to see what it is that the community needs, what are the community's concerns, what can we do to address the community and to ask the community to participate and to collaborate with us. I think that the most successful community courts that we have observed, and we went to Spokane. Spokane started a community court, and the most successful community courts have services available or connected closely to the court, meaning that they have social services available, they have treatment available, they have helping people get education. You know, do we have defendants work on their GEDs, or do we help them get back into school? And they have those services available. So when an individual comes to the court, that they're going to see that the court actually does care about their being successful and is going to provide them more hands-on help at getting the help that they need to start to address the issues. Our current model is we tell a person, go do this and stay out of trouble. But we don't provide them any resources or give them much guidance on how to do that. And so community court really steps in to help provide additional guidance to do that. And we're also looking at individualized justice for individuals. A really big component of community court is what they call procedural justice. And what that means is that each individual who comes into the court system, from the time they walk into the system, has to be treated respectfully, so that they know that they are considered as a respected individual with dignity and that their rights are going to be respected. They need to make sure and feel that the court is neutral and that they're going to have a judge who is impartial and has not prejudged their situation. And the judge is going to listen to information that would come from them, their defense attorneys and/or social workers, to assist in making decisions. And that at every point in the process that they have the opportunity to participate in the process and have some say in what they need and how that they're going to be able to articulate and to have the opportunity to tell the court what they want the court to know in terms of making their decision. I think for me the most critical part of this is also that they will be able to sense that the court actually and the decision makers have compassion and concern for that individual and for their success. So we have found in our studies of other community courts that they actually have individuals who do not have cases in front of the court who actually come to the court for help, because they begin to perceive that the court has services available at the courthouse that they can then tap into without even having a court case. So in Newark, New Jersey, people will come to the court even if they don't have a case, because they know that they can touch base with social services to help them with dealing with housing or treatment or other things like that. The city of Spokane has found that as well. The city of Spokane set up their community court at the local library. And so individuals actually, when they come to court at the community court, they're going to the library. The city of Spokane has been able to get social service providers to come to the library on the dates that they have their community court there. And individuals who don't have cases actually show up to the court, community court, and they're able to tap into, and there's no requirement from most of these community courts that you have a case to be able to tap into the services. The city of Seattle started a community court a number of years ago, and they've been revising and revamping it. And they recently opened up a community service center, the same thing. I can send anybody over to the City of Seattle Resource Center, which is in their courthouse, and they can tap into the services that are available there. So the library's there to help people on certain days to work on resumes or to do research or to apply for jobs. They have public health there to help sign up people for health care. They have people there to assist in terms of DSHS signing up for programs and treatment providers there to provide assessment. They have some housing available. So those are the things that we're looking at in terms of trying to set up a community court and to be able to better provide the services that individuals need to start addressing the issues that get us into these low-level offenses. We're very excited about the prospect of being able to provide this type of individualized justice in our courts and think that it will start to address some of the issues of recidivism for low-level offenders. So we're just starting the process. We have a proposal that will be coming before you in the budget process to ask to provide some funding. I've reached out to the Center for Court Innovation to assist us in doing the planning and setup for community court. And it also has the potential to engage the community itself in how we dispense justice and looking for them to provide partnerships. In Dallas, we saw at the community court there that the local community donated shoes and coats for individuals working in the work program so that whenever they came to do their community work that they had proper shoes and clothing to do that. But it was Dallas going out and reaching out to the business community saying, this is what we need from you to help support these programs. And so I'm pretty excited. We don't have a program built yet. We're in the initial phases of dreams and design. But I think that moving forward that, we have the potential to start having impact and making impact on individual lives and hopefully reducing the recidivism of lower level offenses.
It's pretty dang exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So you mentioned CCAP, and Councilmember Gossett and I went to Portland many years ago under the direction of our staff, Cliff Curry, and looked at their CCAP program. And within, 2 years, 3 years? 2 years, they were up here trying to figure out what we had done in addition to their program to see so many successes too. So we were learning from them, then they came to learn from us, then we learned from them. So it was a mutually collaborative learning environment
Yes.
to be able to do this. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm glad that CCAP can be of help to you in that. I did see when I was in the legislature, and we did a project where we looked all over the state at different courts, and one court over on the eastern part of the state had a box in the courtroom, and it was taped off with duct tape, and anybody could come and stand in the box. And then when the judge had a lull or the attorneys were doing something, the judge would talk to the person in the box. And it was amazing to me, the things that people would say. Judge, I drank again last night. I was really drunk. And, be so honest. And the judge would say, thank you for telling me that. What triggered that? What can we do to help you? What do you need? And I was like, oh my gosh, this person, it feels so free to be honest in the courtroom. And rather than saying I'm not guilty, was saying I need help. And they got it. And people would come in and share their successes. I got engaged. I had a baby. Whatever it was. And the idea that these people felt loved and cared about by the court so much that they would come and share was really incredible. And they saw a huge drop in recidivism.
Well, and I think that is the concept of community court is really about building relationships.
Yes.
It really is about the court having relationships with the individuals that come in front of the court. And I think that I was a public defender for 20 plus years before I took the bench. And I can tell you that individuals who feel like somebody really cares about their success and that there is somebody who's rooting for them to do well are really more willing to be open and honest about what's going on than if they feel that the system really doesn't care and nobody really, I'm just going to be as quiet as I can to get through it. And for those people who are able to, and not everybody can do it, every individual has a different timeline. There's no question about that. But for those individuals who are able to develop that relationship with their lawyer, the judge, the prosecutor, the court staff even, the court staff actually have a large role in whether or not the individual feels the procedural fairness and that the system cares. And I think that's what the community court concept is all about, is about relationships and people being able to feel secure that they're going to be treated fairly, that they're going to be treated with respect, that they're going to be expected to be accountable. but that there's going to be compassion in how that's done. And I think that those courts that we can see, San Francisco's doing a really good job, Portland's doing a great job. There are a number of communities across the nation that are doing a really good job, and they do see a reduction in recidivism when it's done well. And I really would like to see that come to our court. I think that our community will have better outcomes, and I think that we can make an impact.
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm, and I know Mr. Ocknell, who was there with you, has the same enthusiasm. And I would love to see all the courts in King County be community courts where people felt justice, had the face of justice was us helping
Right.
them get their lives back on track. I have a couple quick questions.
Mm-hmm.
What is the percentage of people you think that come before you who have at least one substance abuse issue before them?
This would just be off the top of my head. I would be willing to wager that more than 70% of the people that come in front of our court have substance abuse issues. And that's probably low, but
Okay. Well, it's huge enough that having drug and alcohol services there are imperative to doing anything.
yes.
So I think that's great. And why do some people not qualify to the other courts? What's the difference?
Well,
Misdemeanor?
the drug court in King County is for felons only.
Okay. All right.
And our mental health court is limited to diagnosis of an Axis 1 diagnosis, and so pretty significant mental illness. But the folks that we deal with in district court oftentimes have lower level, not an Axis 1 diagnostic, but they clearly have mental health issues that need to be addressed, and a lot of times they're co-occurring disorders with substance abuse. And so they're not qualifying for mental health court because they don't have an Axis 1 diagnosis, but they clearly have issues that we could address in a better fashion than we're currently dealing with.
Well, I like the idea of it being a community court that's centered on the individual rather
Yes.
than having all these other courts that have all these other rules. Let's just get down to who the person is and see if we can make a contract with them
Right.
to make success. So I made a huge list that I'll ask you about offline because I'd like to help
Okay.
you get this moving. And so I'll finish that, but then I want to also praise you for the work that you've done on your online misdemeanor tickets. And when I went about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, was it 5 years ago we went? 5 years ago, to the Innovation Court, I wanted, like a kid in the candy factory, I want all of those things. I wanted automatic this and this one online and this video and this. And we're starting to see 5 years later some of these things come to be. Video arraignments that you're doing, video visitations at Kent and some at the Tower, your court online. So I'm ready now to go to the next innovation and be prepared. It'll take me another 5 years to get. But it's very exciting, so I'm glad you
It is.
went. So how is that going? How do people get involved in that if they get a ticket? How do we
So
help people?
what you're talking about is our e-mitigation program, and that we started for traffic infractions, so that individuals who have a traffic ticket can respond to their ticket online with a online statement. It's going extremely well. And we find actually that from the time that the individual gets a ticket until they actually have a judgment from the judge about how their case is going to be handled is less than 30 days, which is incredible, all right? And the part about that as well is that it also allows the individuals to respond promptly with their payments, and they haven't forgotten it, and they're dealing with it. So it's working really well. Anyone who receives a traffic citation from an officer and wants to mitigate their case can go to our website, and there's a link right there to present their online mitigation. I know there's been some discussion about, and a lot of the officers tell the people about it too.
Oh, that's good.
Because we've shared that with the officers, and they've told them, hey, you know, King County has an online portal if you want to do online mitigation. And when they request a hearing, we send them information about they can do it that way as well. So it's going really well. It's going really well.
Well, I appreciated the day you showed it to me. It was very exciting to see how it worked, and I was
Yeah.
particularly impressed that the computer programming gave you the RCWs right there, so that it was an easy link to get the laws, and everything was right in front of you. And you could
Yes.
just click in this, get that, fix this, and off it went.
Yes, and I occasionally do those hearings myself. When I have a judge out or something, I'll cover those calendars, and individuals can attach copies of the photos for us. They can download their, insurance card or their driver's license or their registration or whatever's relevant to the case. They can just download it. When I open up the file, it's all right there. I can see their driving record. I can read the RCW. I can read their statement. I can read the officer statement. It's all right there. It's a really wonderful program, and it's working really very well.
That makes me very happy. You have no idea how happy
Yeah.
that makes me. Well, thank you so much for your
Thank you.
presentation today, and I will have my staff call you about how we can start packaging the
Thank you.
community courts. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for your support.